They didn't sign a superstar, they didn't trade for a headline name. And yet, the Charlotte Hornets might be having one of the smartest off seasons in the NBA. You just have to know where to look. In a league obsessed with splashy moves, Charlotte played a different game this summer. Quietly stockpiling assets, adding vets, and surrounding their young core with structure. This isn't about winning the press conference. It's about building something sustainable. Let's break down why the Hornets' 2025 offseason could be the beginning of a very real turnaround. At the center of it all, LaMelo Ball and Brandon Miller. The franchise has made it clear, this duo is the future. Ball was entering his prime, Miller was runner-up for Rookie of the Year. Together, they're Charlotte's ticket to relevance. But after a brutal 19-63 season, it was obvious. They needed help. Not necessarily another star, but spacing, toughness, leadership, and above all, options. Let's talk about the moves. Collin Sexton was the first big addition. Acquired from Utah for Jusuf Nurkic in a second rounder, Sexton averaged 18.4 points last season and brings instant scoring to the backcourt. He's not a star, but he's the kind of aggressive shot creator that takes pressure off ball. He's also a combo guard that can defend decently well. Then came Connaughton, a proven 3-and-D wing from Milwaukee. Charlotte took on his $9.4 million salary, but got 2 second-round picks in the process. A classic asset play. They also brought back Mann, signing him to a 3-year, $24 million deal after he flashed serious upside last season. And for depth, Spencer Dinwiddie and Mason Plumlee were added on short-term deals. The kind of low-risk vets you want around a young team. But here's where it gets really interesting, the draft. So Charlotte walked away with 4 picks, each serving a different purpose. Let's start with Knueppel, the 4th overall pick. He might be the best shooter in this draft. 40.6% from 3 in college. The Hornets openly said, we got the best shooter in the draft. I mean, that's confidence. McNeeley at 29 was a UConn standout. Polished, versatile, and fits perfectly alongside the wings. Zion James and Ryan Kalkbrenner picked at 33 and 34. Bring defense and toughness. 2 traits Charlotte desperately needed. And may I remind you, these guys just led the Hornets to a Summer League title, the first trophy the Hornets have ever won in anything in the NBA. Draft picks aren't guaranteed gold, but they're currency, and the Hornets are collecting. But let's take a step back. So what's the actual strategy here? Well, in my point of view, it's balance. On one hand, the Hornets are clearly trying to improve now, surrounding Ball and Miller with scorers, shooters, and vets. On the other hand, they've been extremely careful not to overcommit. Most of the contracts they handed out this year are 1-year deals. There's cap flexibility, there's trade flexibility, and there's zero panic. They're not rushing the rebuild, they're buying time, and they're doing it intelligently. So if you're a fan of team building, this is where it gets fun. So remember, Charlotte traded away Mark Williams draft night and Jusuf Nurkic and turned those 2 players into McNeeley at the 29th pick, a 2029 first round pick, Collin Sexton, and a 2030 second round pick. I mean, that's value. They took on slightly more salary to get better players and future draft capital, and they did it without giving up their top young guys. This is the kind of cap manipulation and trade stacking that contenders use. Charlotte is doing it before they even arrive at that stage. Alright guys, if you made it this far, consider hitting that subscribe button. We're trying to hit those 1,000 subscribers. And I also want to know what you guys are thinking about the Charlotte Hornets offseason this year, and if you think they're finally going to turn it around, let me know. But of course, even with all these moves, not everyone is convinced. So ESPN's Zach Lowe called the roster a strange conglomerate. Too many guards, not enough bigs. Which is a fair critique, let's be honest. But even if he admitted, this year isn't about perfection, it's about growth and flexibility. Others are more optimistic, so local reporters and fans praise the front office vision, especially the Knueppel pick and the Connaughton trade. Charlotte president Jeff Peterson said, these guys equate to winning, and well, maybe he's right. So here's kind of an outlook of the roster today. So at the backcourt, we got LaMelo Ball, Mann, Collin Sexton, Spencer Dinwiddie, and Zion James. On the wings, we got Brandon Miller, Knueppel, McNeeley, Connaughton. And for the bigs, we got Miles Bridges, Moussa Diabate, Mason Plumlee, Ryan Kalkbrenner. And I know there are more players. I'm just, kind of giving you guys an outlook on this. It's not a star-studded team, but it's much deeper than it was last season. It's smarter and it's more mature. And for a team that won just 19 games last year, that's really all that matters. Ball and Miller now have reliable shooters around them, and I think they have guys with a winning mentality. Knueppel from Duke, McNeeley from UConn. These guys were winners at the high school level, at the college level. So I think, Charlotte really had an emphasis on the exact type of player that they wanted to draft. And I don't think the Hornets are chasing the number 8 seed. Charlotte. I think they're playing the long game. With multiple future picks in their hand, with short-term contracts that can be flipped, with 4 rookies developing and a young star duo leading the way, Charlotte has built something we rarely see. A flexible rebuild with upside, much like the Oklahoma City Thunder. If it works, they'll be a playoff team within 2 seasons. If it doesn't, they still have assets to pivot. No, the Hornets didn't make headlines, but they made progress. And in a league where front offices often chase quick fixes, Charlotte chose patience, precision, and planning. Call it sneaky, call it subtle, but if you ask me, the Hornets might be playing chess while everyone else is still playing checkers. And as always, guys, if you enjoyed the video, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, comment down below. I love to chat with you guys in the comments, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.